How's it going, everybody? It is, excuse my antivirus. How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with our Game Week 2 deadline stream. We got the clock, and it's ticking to make those final transfers. I'm greatly considering another transfer, which will require a hit for me this week. So yeah, let's have a little peek, shall we? For those that don't know, I use my mic for the deadline streams just because I don't want to wake up everyone in my house, because they wouldn't be too happy to be woken up at 6 a.m. And yeah, it's a weekend. Some people want to sleep in. Some people want to watch the early game, like me. But yeah, let's take a little peek. So the transfer I'm greatly considering is a certain Colombian who's recently joined a Merseyside team called James Rodriguez, and he's going to be coming out for this, some might call, fraudulent player in Dele Alli. So we might potentially do that swap, and that's what the team would look like if I was able to do it. But we'll see. It's just one of those things where, I got the price drop on Alli. Do I want James in for this game? Yeah, I kind of do. Do I want to risk Alli being benched? No, I don't. Am I going to have James for at least the next few game weeks? Yep. We're going to have him for these three, probably through Liverpool, probably up until game week 10, almost certainly. And then we'll bring Everton players back in for this run here potentially. I think that's what we're gonna end up doing. But yeah, should be quite an interesting run of affairs, as it were. But I hope that James can do well. I want, Alli all the best, but unfortunately, mate, it looks like you're going to get kicked out of the team for Giovanni Lo Celso, who I'm not sure is actually fit yet. Who is Lo Celso fit? Let's see. Giovanni Lo Celso. Where's he even to? Oh, there he is. I know he went down in price, because I know he was injured the last game. But I think he may have come on as a sub for during their midweek game. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. With Bale coming in, you'll probably think that Spurs will, at least on attack, will probably revert to more of like a 4-4-2, with like Son pushing up from the from left wing up to like a secondary striker, or maybe that might be Lo Celso and Son, and then Bale hug the touch lines. And then you'll have the likes of probably Højbjerg and Winks or Højbjerg and what's his name, Sissoko, be like kind of the destroyers in the center of midfield. So we'll see on that front. But I think that I'm greatly considering this move, and I think that with the potential price rise of James today, I think that he could provide some great value going forward. So, but we shall see. I'm just going to take a look at the fixtures and kind of let's see what some of the exciting games are going to be this week. So first off, we kick it off with Everton and West Brom. Now, that should be pretty easy for Everton. There's potential arguments for captaincy, as we've seen in our discussions in our preview stream. But I don't think Everton's that risky in terms of captaining. But the teams basically on this side should, and I say should, trounce the teams on the right-hand side of the fixtures here. So Everton should beat West Brom, Leeds should beat Fulham, United should beat Palace, Arsenal should beat West Ham, so on and so forth. That's how I see it going. Now with the with Southampton versus Spurs, again, still a bit tricky, still a bit up in the air, could go either way. Newcastle versus Brighton, I think Newcastle should have that game quite comfortably. Chelsea Liverpool, that can go either way. That can definitely go either way. There is that rivalry now between Lampard and Klopp from their kind of we'll call it disputes on the sideline towards the end of last season. I'm leaning personally towards Liverpool. I think especially if Thiago can get into their team. I'm not sure how match fit he is, but I mean he has been training with Bayern, so he's probably going to be pretty fit. Leicester versus Burnley is another one. Good morning, John Wick. I am super tired. For some reason, my body decided to wake me up 1 hour before my alarm was supposed to go off, and I'm trying not to yawn, but I'm going to anyway because I'm super tired. FPL excitement. Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's excitement of a new potential transfer in James over a certain Dele Alli potentially. Maybe that's why I'm excited. But we'll see. But yeah, Aston Villa versus Sheffield United. Villa's probably going to win that game. They've been looking a lot better. The interesting game should be Wolves versus City. Because if we go look at, I wonder if Jota has been added to Liverpool yet. No, he hasn't. But we can take a look at Wolves' team. So they have some options in defense. But in terms of forwards now, until they get Traore not playing right wing back, which he's more than capable of doing, you know, they're going to play Jimenez every game. And then with Jota leaving, there's only a couple of options. So you have Podence, you have Neto, Traore himself, but if he's a right wing back, then he doesn't really count. And then you have this Vitinha, who plays as like an attacker, or can play as an attacker. And then you have Fabio Silva, who can also play as an attacker as well. And I think that it could be quite interesting, because we could potentially have, you know, Neto and Podence as your as Wolves' frontmen, which could be interesting. Podence and Marçal on the left side. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, that's what they did last last time out. Oh, excuse me. I'm actually gonna bring up the Wolves lineup off to the side here. Wolverhampton Wanderers. So when they played versus Sheffield United, they actually had, according to this lineup, they had Podence running down the middle and Jimenez out on the right, which is possible. But they had Neto, Podence, Jimenez, and Adama at right wing back. They had Burr come on. They had the Ferreira guy come on, and they had Neves come on. Okay, who did they do against Stoke? So against Stoke they lost. Yeah, they played Ferreira out on the left, Adama out on the right, and they had Fabio Silva through the middle. They still played the same back three, Bali, Cody, Saiss, and they played Burr and Vinagre with Neves and Dendoncker. But yeah, pretty interesting. So Ferreira looks like he could play out on the left-hand side. So again, they do have options. But every time this little Podence fella, and I say little because he is fairly short for a player that plays in the Premier League, and a lot of people didn't think he would do well. He's looked very good, and I think he could definitely continue that. And people on wildcards are definitely going to be looking at him to replace essentially this fellow, St. Maximin, who gets fouled a lot and doesn't really get involved, at least not in the first game. He can potentially do something this week. It's just going to be me yawning a lot today. I can see it coming. But no, in all seriousness, I think St. Maximin could be potentially being looked at as a potential, replacement, an alternative to Jimenez. Is Podence or Podence? Not sure how you actually pronounce his name, but yeah, it could be interesting. I'm not sure if we have any quotes yet from Mourinho for Dele Alli. Let me take a quick little peek. Doesn't look like anything. Yeah, it just seems like a bunch of transfer news, which I'm pretty sure is a load of rubbish. And yeah. Click and Harrison Podence look bargains at 5.5. I do believe that is the case. Now, one thing to consider with Mr. Harrison is that when they play Man City, he can't play because that's the club he's being loaned from, I believe. So a bit unfortunate there. But it could be okay going forward. I mean, having it for this week would be good. Sheffield United away. It says a FDR of 4. They're making Sheffield United seem like this brilliant team, but if Wolves, who sit back and hit teams on the break and score 2, then they're not very good defensively. So, but yeah, I can see Leeds doing quite well in these fixtures here. I mean, they can score 3 past Liverpool. They can score who knows how many past a lot of teams, because they're a team that, I dread when United has to play. When do United have to play Leeds? During the Christmas period. Fantastic. Lovely. So we got to play Leeds, Leicester, Wolves during the Christmas period. Great. That should be fun. United's team will be nice and tired by then, because they'll have gone to international duty. We'll be playing in the Champions League. So that should be fun. But yeah, Leeds are a team that have high intensity. They press a lot. They like to move the ball quickly. They have a lot of people that can score. And I think that they're going to be quite offensive. They'll be defensively sound as well. I think their XG was for non-penalties was quite low, actually. Same with Liverpool's. Like Leeds getting their goals and they were well taken, and Liverpool obviously getting 2 penalties. I was here says, have you made any transfers? I've made 2, and I'm thinking about making a 3rd one. So the players we've taken out are Kai Havertz for Bruno Fernandes. And the reason I took out Kai Havertz instead of... I'll revert back to my normal team here. We took out Kai Havertz for Bruno Fernandes. We could have done Dele Alli, but the reason we took out Kai Havertz is because we needed the extra 0.5 million so that we can upgrade Che Adams for Calvert-Lewin. So we had Calvert-Lewin and Fernandes in, Che Adams and Kai Havertz out. Mainly because we want United, because United's fixtures look good. Fernandes is their talisman. Havertz, as long as Ziyech and Pulisic are out, which seems to be a couple of weeks away now, he's probably going to get played on the right, unfortunately. And when he's played on the right, he'll do performances like they had versus Brighton, where Chelsea should have potentially lost based on stats in all metrics of the game, but they won 3-1. So, and then we're also considering Dele Alli out for James Rodriguez. And my decision here for that is mainly because I think Alli could potentially be benched or not in the squad because Lo Celso is coming back to fitness. And I think that the way Jose Mourinho likes to play, he likes to put Lo Celso in a pressing and attack-minded position, and the way he can do that is if he puts him in the number 10, where Alli typically plays and has been considered lazy because he doesn't press from the front as well. So I think we can definitely see Mourinho playing like a midfield of Lo Celso, Højbjerg, and then either Winks or Sissoko, and then he'll play Son, Kane, and then Bergwijn, or when Bale comes in, they'll play Bale. Liverpool and Chelsea will be high scoring, both will attack. Yeah, I predicted a 3-2 in favor of Liverpool, but it can go either way. Both defenses aren't solid at the moment, so on Liverpool side, they conceded 3 goals to a team that was just newly promoted. And although Leeds are probably going to be a mid-table team, potentially higher, so there is merits to that. But Liverpool's defense typically doesn't start off well. It slowly gets progressively more and more effective throughout the season. Trent still looks a bit out of it. Robertson still looks like he's picking off picking up where he left off at the end of last season, getting a lot of involvement in and around the box. Gomez still looks suspect. Van Dijk having to do a lot of cover him. Van Dijk made a mistake, so that doesn't help for them. And then on Chelsea side, they don't have Chilwell, so they have to play Alonso or Emerson, if Emerson's still even at the club. Thiago Silva's still not fully fit yet. He is in training, but hasn't been training for long, and Lampard said he won't feature. At least that was the way we took his press conference, but again, it's one of those things where managers typically lie. So we'll see. Reece James looked good, but again, defensively, still not completely solid, and I'm not convinced of any of the other center backs that Chelsea have. And if there's someone who's going to take 8 shots a game, it's Mohamed Salah. And if there's a goalkeeper that you want to do that versus, it's going to be Kepa. Because Kepa's not very good. I believe his, X, whatever it is for stopping goals going in, was -12. So he basically conceded 12 goals more than he should have when he played. Which, in comparison to the likes of Dean Henderson for Sheffield United last season, Dean Henderson was +5, which means he saved 5 more goals or thereabouts than he should have. So Kepa's not very good, turns out. I mean, when you see him giving up very easy goals to the likes of Brighton, letting the ball bounce in front of him and not actually adjusting and making the save. As someone who's played in goal myself, I'm pretty sure I could have potentially saved that. It's a shot from outside the box. It wasn't hit with a crazy amount of pace. And I think that he's just very weak. But they, it's just a matter of time before they sign that goalkeeper from Rennes. And then they'll be in a lot better stead. And when they have their full team, which will basically be a new 11, they'll have him and the goalkeeper from Rennes. They'll have Chilwell. They'll have Thiago Silva. They'll have one of their center backs. They'll have Reece James. They'll have Kovacic and Conte. They'll have Pulisic, Havertz, Ziyech from left to right, and they'll have Werner through the middle, which is what we want. That's what we want. And once we have that system, we'll be able to see what which fullback is better, whether it be James or Chilwell. Because again, James might still be on potentially rotationable lists because of Azpilicueta being the club captain, who wasn't fully fit for their game versus Brighton. But you can probably bet good money that he's going to be in there for when they go to play Liverpool. And we'll be able to see which of the Chelsea midfielders, because you got Havertz at 8'5", Ziyech at 8, Pulisic at 8'5", you have Werner in the forward slot at 9'5". So it's going to be interesting to see which one's going to look the best. And also I want to see that specific team get a penalty, because when Havertz and Werner were on the field, but Jorginho was also on the field, Jorginho took the penalties. Now that could just be something from last season, and Werner got taken down for it. So maybe if Werner gets taken down, Havertz is going to take it. And maybe if Havertz gets taken down, Werner is going to take it in the long run. But we'll have to see. But I think Chelsea is the best is yet to come for them. And we're kind of looking or expecting Ziyech and Pulisic to be back in a couple of game weeks. Hopefully they're back for Crystal Palace at home. Hopefully they're back for West Brom away. That'd be nice too. but we shall see. Werner's ownership has dropped significantly, though. He was close to the 50% mark. He is now at the just under the 40% mark, which is quite surprising to me because I think Werner could be one of these players that's a season keeper because of the potential that I think he definitely has. I think he could be up there for the Golden Boot winner this season. And at 9.5, he just looks cheap, really. Looks very cheap. You know, you're looking at Kane, 10.5, playing CDM. Aguero, 10.5. He's out for another month or two. Jamie Vardy, now risen to 10.1 million. Looks pretty good. But will Jamie Vardy outscore Werner this season? Not sure. Transferring to Martial or Jimenez? Yeah, that is something that is definitely considerable. Probably not in the foreseeable future unless he gets, a significant injury that puts him out, which wouldn't be too nice. But ideally, we want him for West Brom away, Crystal Palace at home, and then reassess, because a lot of people would like to wildcard during the first international break, which is between Gameweek 4 and Gameweek 5. So one of the situations there is you get to assess players that are on international duty. You get to catch any price rises because you're on a wild card. You don't lose any value. If anything, you gain value. But if there's a lot of people on wild cards too, the value won't be as crazy as it was in previous seasons. Talking about before my time of playing. That's what a lot of people would do to gain value. They would go in a wild card. They would get people going up twice, 3 times during that effective 2-week break. And they would boost their team value. But yeah, I would like to have Werner at least till the end of Game Week 4. We're looking at these fixtures down here, so Southampton at home definitely can be strong. Sheffield United at home is an FDR of 3. I think it's an FDR of 2, personally. Newcastle away, FDR of 3. Chelsea should be able to handle them. Spurs don't look very good, personally. Maybe they could change some things around. Maybe Bale comes in and is back by then from supposed injury. So we'll see on that front. Mitrovic, on the other hand, is an interesting prospect. I also just realized you guys can't see that very well. We'll have to fix that for the next stream. Because it is slightly off-center. Maybe I can do something here. Let's see if I can... So I have my lineup there, and I hit... Yeah, it's still going to be off-center regardless. Oh well. If I go to the transfer screen, let's see how that looks. And then I hit like Robertson or something. Nah, it's still slightly off to the side. Oh well. But yeah, the transfer I'm considering is Alli out for James Rodriguez. And I'm not sure if I should do it right now. In an ideal scenario, Alli plays for me... plays for me this week. Whereas the Southampton does well. Goes back up in price to 8 million. And then before James does. And then we can assess from there. However, I think the most likely thing is Alli gets put in the doghouse. Either is not in the entire squad, or doesn't start, or gets hooked again. Whereas I know James is going to start and be involved in set plays and stuff. And he plays the first game of the day as well. Let's go back and look at the fixtures here. So you like to have people in every fixture. So for Everton West Brom, we have Everton players. We have Fulham players in the Leeds Fulham. We have United players in the Crystal Palace United. We have our captain Aubameyang in the Arsenal West Ham. Technically, we don't want Spurs to even score. So it's even more incentive because we have McCarthy. Newcastle versus Brighton, we have St. Maximin. Chelsea versus Liverpool, we have Liverpool defenders and Werner, which are kind of counterproductive, but we knew that was going to happen. Leicester Burnley, there's nothing really involved for us there. Aston Villa versus Sheffield United. Technically, we have Burke on our bench, and then Wolves Man City. So we have a pretty even spread. We have a pretty even spread overall, which is nice, because at least I can just watch the Man City Wolves game, kind of chill out, not really too stressed about it. Villa Sheffield can kind of hope that our 4 million goalkeeper plays and steer, but that would be quite nice. Get a little clean sheet, and then Martinez can play for the rest of the games. This is the only real kind of concern for Southampton for the next few, and then Chelsea as well. But hopefully some save points there. But who knows? I might be on a wild card then, and I might have a different goalkeeper. Maybe go with Guaita or somebody like that, who is got pretty good fixtures. And if Crystal Palace can keep a clean sheet versus Southampton, who are on fire to end the season, then we could be looking at potential value there. Let me actually check the price, how the prices are looking. Yeah, so James looks like he's, especially if he has a good performance today, he's going to go up for sure. He's in the top 10. Then if we get on to the bottom, Havertz looks like he could go down. Ings could potentially go down before he plays. Armstrong could potentially go down because he was injured. And then Alli's, he's at 99%. So he could definitely go down. 30 minutes for deadline, panic time, don't know what to do of Havertz, best long term or hold on Havertz. For me, I think the only player that you can consider taking Havertz out for is James Rodriguez. Or if you have the extra 0.5, maybe to Son. And then later on, because if you go from Son or from Havertz to Son, if you have the 0.5, then you can always go revert back and just keep Son, because you know Son's going to play every game. Pretty much. Yeah, you just know Son's going to play every game. Again, with City, it's a bit weird. And again, with the, Wolves being basically Man City's kryptonite, I don't think it's worth the risk for City because is Mahrez? You have to think probably worst case scenario. So worst case scenario, Mahrez doesn't start and he comes on for 30 minutes versus Wolves defense. It's not great. Hey Mono, how's it going? What's the story? Potential -8. That's what's on the cards potentially. We've already done a -4. We've taken out Havertz and Che Adams for Calvert-Lewin and Fernandez. We're potentially thinking about taking Alli, and James Rodriguez will be his replacement. Also, John Wick has a bit of a dilemma with he's not sure if he should take out Havertz because he, from the sounds of it, he has 8.5, so he can't go up to Son. I think if you can't go up to Son or you're not going to get in James Rodriguez, I think you just stick with him, personally. Mind you, value is quite important, so you can make an easy 0.2 by going straight to James Rodriguez, who has better fixtures overall than Chelsea do. Now, if I knew that Havertz was starting in the 10 today, I would say keep him for sure. But again, that's not something I can guarantee. And we're still not even sure who's on penalties for Chelsea because we know that Kovacic is going to come straight back into the team, which will help with ball progression. Once Pulisic is back in the team, he'll be drawing fouls and help with ball progression as well. Ziyech will help with the creativity on the opposite side. And we'll kind of see who's kind of the main men there once the whole team's in place, when they have their front four all back and fit. But that's still a couple of weeks out by the looks of it. So yeah, that's kind of would be my decision. John Wick. Either you're taking Havertz out. If you have like I said, the 0.5 to go to Son, I would do that because you can always come back down. Because Son's now 0.1 cheaper. Yeah, the fixtures after Gameweek 2 are good. You know, if he doesn't do anything against Liverpool, okay, cool, fine. If he goes down in price, fine. You just have to hope that after the fact, once the players start coming back in, then he kind of kicks on from there. But I would say the other option is take him out for James, so you save the 0.1 on him potentially going down. You get 0.1 on James, is probably going to likely rise in price either tonight or tomorrow. And you have James' really good fixtures. He's also on set pieces. We're not sure who's on penalties for Everton. But Moise Kean took the penalty for Everton in midweek. Usually it was Leighton Baines, but Leighton Baines obviously doesn't play for Everton anymore. So it could be James. Could be Calvert-Lewin. Could be Richarlison. We don't know. I can't really make any changes. -8. Well, yeah, -8 is a lot. But again, if it was anything more than a -8, if it was like I need to get Alli out. I need, let's say Werner was injured long term. I wanted to bring in Fernandez. I wanted to get rid of my Liverpool defense. Let's say Doherty was injured or something. Then I'll be like, okay, yeah, wildcard time. I have McCarthy, TA, Doherty, and Justin, Havertz, Salah, St. Maximin, Aubameyang, Adams, DCL, and Werner. Should I make any changes? Nope. I think that team's perfectly fine. I got rid of Adams because I wanted to bring in Calvert-Lewin. You already have Calvert-Lewin. Your Adams is basically my Mitrovic in this case. I think you hold your transfer. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's a chance that Doherty might not start today or tomorrow, whenever he plays. But I think that team's perfectly fine. I think that hanging on to Havertz is fine. If you're gonna take out somebody, if you want Man United, is you basically have Bruno. You could bring in Bruno for Salah just for the one game week, and then you take Aubameyang back out for Salah after, but you have to worry about price rises there. So that's something you could potentially do. But apart from that, I would just say just hang on to everyone. There's no real need for changes there. If you were looking at the decision before, you could have potentially taken Doherty out for Digne maybe, but that's kind of a bit of a different move there. But so far it looks fine. I'm thinking Havertz, maybe Doherty out for Bruno and scratch defender, or is that stupid? When you mean scratch defender, you mean like a 4 million? Or a 4-5? If you can get a 4-5, then maybe it's probably worth it. Bruno is a worry for a lot of people. But again, you have Mohamed Salah who could potentially score against anyone. If he's in that form like he is versus a lot of teams, 4 million. Okay, I mean that's who are your other defenders? Because I see you have 4-5 in Justin, 6 million in Doherty. Trent is a, so you probably have a 4-5 and a 4 maybe, or 2 4s currently. I'm not sure. Just hopped on. Are you planning on holding off with your wildcard till next week? I'm planning on holding off my wildcard as long as physically possible. I think hits are fine in the first few. Mitchell and Kyle Walker. Yeah, I mean, Kyle Walker's probably going to play most weeks, but is City defense really that good? And is Kyle Walker, I don't know how much Kyle Walker is. I think he's 6 million. Yeah, he's 6 million. Is Walker going to get a lot of assists? Like, is he as good as value as potentially Digne? Because Digne's on, like, set pieces and stuff. I'm not so sure. But, I mean, it looks fine to me if you're happy with playing Walker. Oh, Walker Peters. Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah. I mean, you have to be comfortable with playing Walker Peters, Justin, and Trent Alexander-Arnold every week. And unfortunately, in a few weeks' time, you're going to have to take Justin out because Pereira will be back. Jerry says, I have Mitchell, TAA, Dallas, Havertz, Aubameyang, Son, De Bruyne, Bamford, Werner, and Mitrovic. Should I take a -8 to bring in Fernandez? Depends on who you're taking out. But -8 seems a bit extreme. Seems a bit extreme. I see a lot of people getting rid of Trent and Aubameyang for some reason for this game week, which doesn't make sense to me. I can see maybe next week taking out. So probably Son and Trent. So you've already made a transfer then this week then. I would assume it's somebody for Bamford. If I had to guess. So you'd basically go from Son up 1.5 to Fernandez, which means Trent would have to come down to a 6 million at the most. I mean, that -8 looks fine. If you take Son and Trent out for Digne and Fernandez, could repay itself back this week potentially. But like I'm if you're looking at like past -8s, then it's probably potentially considering a wild card. If it's the first few weeks of the season, if you're getting hits to chase value, you basically trade points for value, and I think that's perfectly fine. That's sort of what I like to do, to be a bit more aggressive. So like I see that Calvert-Lewin is going to be the focal point of the Everton attack, and it's going to be involved, so it's going to be him and Richarlison scoring, and it's good to have one of them. Calvert-Lewin happens to be the cheaper of the two. Ancelotti likes him. And Calvert-Lewin's stats, although he didn't score from like game week 29 onwards or whatever it was, he gets shots off in the box. And with Richarlison potentially playing a bit wider, with James maybe playing more of a number 10 role in future game weeks with somebody out on the right, then we could see Calvert-Lewin kind of playing more as an out-and-out number 9. TA out, Keane in, Adams out, Richarlison in for -4. Could be worth it, but again, I'll just put this caveat in there. Trent did score a pretty sizable haul the last time he played Chelsea, because he banged in a free kick because Kepa is useless. So as a goalkeeper, you set up your wall to block the near side where the ball is. So if your goal is, I'll just draw a figurative goal here, and the ball is on this side, you put your wall there and the keeper stands over here, but as close to the wall as possible. He was standing, instead of standing here, he was like here, because there was like a couple of Liverpool players that were going to duck out of the way anyway, and or our Chelsea players, or whatever it was, he was basically standing like so far over on one side of his goal. And I think Trent's just really good from free kicks anyway, but yeah, it's a close call for me. Hi Neep, namaste from Nepal. Been waiting for my live stream. Thank you for joining us. Much appreciated. No for me, TA favorite opponents at Chelsea. 2 goals, both free kicks. Yeah, exactly. How about going -4 to bring in Digne? I think that could be very valuable. It depends on who you're getting rid of. I like Digne if you're upgrading him from a 5 million. I like Digne potentially if we know that Doherty's not starting this week. Because again, Doherty played midweek, played on the weekend gone. But Mourinho came out with comments saying that's not the real Doherty. So my thing is he could be just playing him to get his match fitness up. He doesn't seem to favor Aurier anymore. But again, is a Mourinho signing. You know, Bergwijn's a Mourinho signing. Lo Celso, he likes Lo Celso. You know, Doherty's, alongside Højbjerg, potentially Bale. You know, these sorts of players, Reguilon, these players are going to play game in, game out for Mourinho. And hardly ever be rotated. Because that's what Mourinho did with United. That's what Mourinho did with Chelsea. With United specifically, he played Ashley Young constantly at right back. He played Fellaini and Matic constantly in the midfield. He played Lukaku every game, even if they were terrible when they played. Game in, game out. Always played. I think that Mitchell's good for another few game weeks. Probably till the international break, probably. Also, another thing with Ferguson is that he could potentially be at risk, depending on how long his injury is, because they're like Daniel Klein, who is or Nathaniel Klein. Basically, the former Liverpool player that plays right back. He's been training with Palace, apparently. And they could be looking at potentially bringing in him because they're not sure how long Ferguson's going to be out for. But Ferguson's not going to go down in value because a lot of people just have him in their... actually, he's only 1.6% owned. A lot of people won't be getting rid of him because he's not a priority. Doherty, a good pick for this week. I think if Doherty starts, he could be. But again, if your team is looking, looking good, no real fires to put out, as it were, I would say you could take Doherty out and put in Digne. But again, Digne is going up 0.1. So you would need the extra 0.5. Opinions on Click. I think he's a fantastic player. And I think he's on penalties for Leeds. Because I think he has the highest conversion rate. So at 5.5 he could be good. The thing is with Leeds though, I think that they're going to be one of those teams where one week it could be Harrison that scores, next week it could be Click, the next week it could be Bamford, the following week it could be Rodrigo, the following week after that Dallas could get an assist, the following week after that Island could get an assist. There's no real one player in there that's going to be getting you the points. If Liverpool score 4, right? You could probably bet good money that Salah and Mane are probably among that. If United score 3, you could probably bet that Fernandes or Martial is probably in there. Spurs, you could probably bet Son or Kane. You can kind of narrow it down. Whereas Leeds, probably not so. I think Leeds are going to be good defensively. So I think Dallas and Isling could be quite good. Adams for Bamford? Nah, I don't think so. I think you keep Che Adams because one thing that Hasenhüttl showed was that in midweek, he and in their weekend game, both games which they lost, unfortunately for them. But he showed that when he starts Che Adams, he takes a very long time before he takes takes a very long time for to substitute him off, really. So he's almost like Ings in a sense, where he doesn't want to take them off because he thinks that they could potentially score. And I think both Ings and him should have potentially scored versus Palace. So my final 11 is probably... I'll just put my team up on the screen right now. So just kind of a recap for those that are just joining us. I have Steer in goal just because if he plays, fantastic. I think he's better. Robertson and Trent, not really going for my team anywhere, even though they probably won't keep a clean sheet, but we bring them in because we think they're midfielders. They're not really defenders. They're midfielders that can get clean sheets too. That's how I see them for their price. Doherty's in there, although I think there is a risk that he could get rotated because of playing midweek, playing on the weekend, but he has a Mourinho signing, so he's probably just going to keep playing, which is fine by us. We have St. Maximin in there, got a good fixture versus Brighton. We brought Fernandes in for Havertz. We have Dele Alli, who could still make way. I still have 6 minutes to decide if he's going to make way for James, and I think that's probably what I'm going to do. Aubameyang in from our team, who will make way next week. He's our captain for this week. That was the plan all along. Well, Calvert-Lewin in for Che Adams, and the reason I picked to get rid of Che Adams over Mitrovic is because Mitrovic isn't likely to get rotated, plus his longer term fixtures are better overall, and I don't want to have to make another 6 million forward transfer to bring in anyone, really. My United asset's going to be Fernandes because I think he's just slightly edges Martial. And then Werner's in there, with our subs bench being pretty straightforward to kind of play. I hope Steer does play, because if he does, I think Sheffield United are very weak up front, and he's highly likely to get a clean sheet. That being said, if I take Alli out, then even if McCarthy does come in, I have less incentive for Spurs to score, and I would just hope for a 0-0. So is what it is. But yeah, I think I'm going to do that transfer, so let me do that right now. Yes, we lost value in Alli, but we'll make it back because James will be will probably be going up in price, and Alli could be going down again before he actually gets a chance to play. So confirm the -4. Let's do a bit of swapping around here. So Werner's now in the middle. We want James out for Burke. Aubameyang out for James. Aubameyang out for James. James out for Calvert-Lewin. Burke out for St. Maximin. No. St. Maximin out for Aubameyang. Aubameyang in for Burke. And we definitely do not want St. Maximin with the captaincy. We want our captain and vice captain to be right in the middle of the team. And we want our Everton boys to be on the side here, with Trent and Robertson being our right and left back. St. Maximin on the left. Werner running through the middle. Technically, we could have Mitrovic. Yeah, let's go with that. So I want Calvert-Lewin. Then Calvert-Lewin back in. I want Mitrovic to be in the middle. And then we go. And then do we take out? Is that how we do it? No, I gotta take out Calvert-Lewin and then put him back in. Whatever. I'll leave Mitrovic out on the right. He's got a white and black shirt, just like St. Maximin. Whatever. How about bringing in Rodriguez over Son, as price has already fallen? You could potentially bring in Son now, because obviously he's 8-9. Let me make sure everything's. There's only 2 minutes left, so I'm just making sure my team. So I got Steer in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Doherty, Robertson, Rodriguez, Fernandez, Weiss, Aubameyang captain, St. Maximin, Mitrovic, Werner, Calvert-Lewin, Burke, Mitchell, Ferguson. Cool. And my team is safe, so. All lovely-dovely here. So just under 2 minutes. So for those that are making last-minute lineup changes, make sure to do so. Make sure to hit the save button. Make sure your captain's on the right player. Make sure your vice captain's on the right player. Make sure your bench is in order. Yeah, I think that taking a couple hits, because I would have done this next week anyway. There's a risk of Alli not playing, so I think it just makes sense. Next week my transfer would have been Aubameyang out and Dele Alli out for somebody, but at least here I can kind of chill, relax. Enjoy the games now. Enjoy the very early fixture, which is Everton versus West Brom, which is going to be just over an hour and a half. And yeah, it should be good. Just under 30 seconds. Make sure to hit the save. I'm going to refresh the page here just to be sure that this is my save team. It is. Lovely. And yeah, got 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's over. The deadline is here. We're going to keep refreshing the page until it breaks, because that's our tradition. Brings good luck, and there it is. The game is being updated. So, hopefully you all got your lineups in. Hopefully you all made the informative decisions. Hopefully I was helpful. You know, you're not going to get every decision right. Basically, you just got to look for a good score every week. And if you make informed decisions based on stats and gut feeling, then things can definitely work out. So yeah, that's going to do it for the Game Week 2 deadline stream. Make sure to give us a follow on all the platforms. PilotFlame226. Links are also in the description below. I'm going to be putting this VOD up over on YouTube for people to potentially watch it later. John Wick is convinced that Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to have a free kick incoming. I hope so. For all those people that sold him, I hope they get punished. I hope for all the people that sold Aubameyang for whatever reason, I hope they get punished too. I hope Salah doesn't actually score, because again, I'm really regretting it already. And he's probably the only player that I'm scared of this week. If Mane scores, I don't care. Nobody owns him. So, yeah. Thank you all for watching. Like I said, follow us on all the socials: Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all that sort of stuff. This VOD's going up on YouTube. The next video that I'm going to be posting is going to be a gaming video on Sunday, and then we're going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all FPL videos there, with the preview stream on Friday and the deadline stream on Saturday as normal. Make sure to follow us over on Twitch for that, because I post the little bulletin of what's coming out and when on Sundays over on Twitter. So make sure to follow us over that. Very important. So yeah, that's going to do it. Happy Game Week 2 to everyone, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.